Okay, there we go. Now we're ready to rock and roll. I'm not too sure what the latency issues we just encountered were. YouTube's being screwy for some strange reason, and I'm not too sure why, but welcome, good evening, everybody. It is 8 o'clock. Well, 8:02. We're about 2 minutes, fashionably late for this live stream, thanks to technical difficulties, just like we ran into down at Daytona, or I should say up at Daytona. That was a bit of a flop, guys, and I do apologize for that. I definitely wanted to stream the initial starting up of the Daytona 500, but I did not expect the service to be as ridiculous inside the racetrack. Outside, it was doing just fine. Out where we were eating Chick-fil-A, just fine. And that was literally 100 yards from the actual Daytona International Raceway, so maybe inside there was just so much interference, probably a lot of folks on their phones as well, hogging up the signal, so I do apologize for that. But welcome into Weather Center Live. As the title of the title of this live stream suggests, we definitely have spring on the horizon. Spring is definitely on the horizon, and no one can say anything about it. Daniel Lawson, everyone has definitely heard about Tropical Storm Akara. That is something I blasted out on my TikTok earlier because that is a rarity indeed. The last time we had anything like that take shape with a no-named tropical cyclone down there, ironically, was 2004. And the reason I get kind of about that is the fact that since the early start of us kind of preliminarily looking at 2024, it did seem like this year was going to be eerily reminiscent to 2004, and we already have a box that we can check. Southern Hemisphere tropical cyclone in the Atlantic. That's the last time that's actually happened. An organized system, let alone a hurricane intensity level of a system down there, was in 04. So I don't know. We're going to see exactly how many more tick boxes we can add. We'll see. How close are we, Scrooge McDuck? Zenful, hello there. Gary, oh no, there you go. The weekend was just fine. The weekend was great, as a matter of fact. We had wonderful weather at the 500 yesterday, which was awesome. Kevin Rivera, welcome in. Thank you very much for joining. We have a number of interesting things to talk about tonight. First and foremost, for everybody joining us tonight, the snow does seem to be slowly going away. And it's moving more and more to the north. The cold air is retreating more to the north. That last little cold blast of polar air we just had over the last couple of days does seem like it's going to be one of the few that occur for the rest of the month and even into early March, it seems like. So we'll start off with our European model as we get a few more folks in here. And we'll take a look at the 12Z. And you could see that we do get a little bit of snowfall over the higher terrain of the Rockies thanks to the tail end of our atmospheric river setup out there that has provided the west coast of California and parts of interior California, just as we were expecting, with some severe weather. Feet of mountain snow, definitely. Don't let anyone else fool you out there. We're not getting a whole lot of snow on ground level, but out there, the Rockies, the Sierras, the Rocky Mountains, and the central area of the Rocky Mountain region are seeing a lot of higher terrain mountaintop snowfall. Definitely getting their fill as we get ready to transition out of the winter pattern and begin transition season. I definitely think we are starting to see a sign of transition season on the horizon for sure. You can already see, just looking at this first little clipper system that moves across the United States right there between the 24-hour mark and the 72-hour mark, that's taken a very, very different track than we've seen almost all winter time. All of our systems throughout the winter have started down here and swooped up like this. And in this case, we're starting to see them travel more and more to the north, And as a result, our snow is going to be starting up here now. It's not going to be down here as much. We're already starting to see it retreat from here to here. And that's exactly what it looks like the next significant system is on the horizon right about here that everyone's talking about. Notice, folks, how we get a lot of our snowfall over the Canadian provinces and maybe a little bit on the northwest side of our Midwest and Great Lakes area. But snow is not coming down as far to the south as it has been, which is interesting to say the least. Well, I shouldn't say interesting. I don't know why I said that, but it's exciting to tell you the truth because transition season is going to bring a new effect for severe weather. In fact, as the thumbnail of this video suggests, I think we're also going to have to investigate severe parameters down in the south, but also in the Midwest. Missouri, Illinois, Indiana, Ohio particularly this quadrant of states right in through here, are going to have to watch for severe weather with the next couple of severe systems. The next couple of low-pressure systems are going to balloon through that area, especially if we do start to see this track unfold on a more recurring basis as we get into March. The Screaming Eagle near Puerto Rico, cool, crazy weather we are having so far. Oh, yeah, it's definitely been interesting down there. There's a couple things I want to show you on the GFS. Obviously, 1 in 100 chance that they're going to verify, but I find it interesting. Jacob, welcome back. It's been a long time since I've seen you in the streams, let alone on Instagram or anything like that. As the weather warms, I can't help but my pants a bit for the upcoming cane season. Yeah, I've been slowly but surely trying not to tread into sensational territory, but I've definitely been watching. And the fact that we now have even higher water temps out there, coupled with getting rid of our El Nino shield, is what I've been calling it, is, I'm not even going to use terminology because I know a lot of folks out there in the general public could take that and run with it. I know AccuWeather today released a video and a post on social media, and they're getting lit up. The general public are pissed. They do not want to hear it, and it's unfortunate. It's truly unfortunate because I feel where that comes from is the fact that 2023 was so badly hyped. It was. I personally, and this is going to sound very crude, very unprofessional to me, but I call it the hype season. Everybody out there was just clinging to everything, every little thing. The running joke on the channel, we should have had Tropical Storm Vince like 4 to 5 different times, and everybody was just going crazy. Tropical wave, look out for this wave, look out for this little thing, look out for this sprinkling of rain, look out for this 35-mile-an-hour wind, and it's like, guys, you're not waiting at all to, for lack of better term, you're blowing it out so quick. Just hold off, tell it like it is. Don't go for the views, don't go for the clicks, and that's what a lot of people did. And now the public are responding just in time for all the real sources to come to light and try to tell people, hey, look, last year people were joking around trying to get their views in, their sub count up, and it worked, but let's kind of dial it in and get a little for real this season because this is looking very concerning. And now everyone's like, nope, not listening, turning you off. We're going to go back to, whose line is it anyways? Who wants to be a millionaire? We're not looking at anything weather-related, let alone the tropics. And it's very discouraging that there's a lot of sources out there, reputable sources, who are just stating the facts. And they're getting shut down by people because last year, everybody and their mother, Category 6 girl from TikTok, wonderful example. There's a Category 6 coming at the beginning of September, y'all, and look what happened. Nothing. We had Idalia, obviously, at the end of August, but let's be real here. There ain't no Cat 6 or anything like that coming. That made its rounds. Millions of people saw that. Turned out to be hype. Turned out to be a full-on hoax. There were a lot of other YouTube channels, other Instagram sources, social media sources that just day in and day out. Jacob could testify to this. Him and I would have little internal roast sessions on Instagram. Every little thing out there that popped up, life-threatening, look out, extreme, take cover, and it's like, calm down. You're going to lose the trust of the people if you keep saying everything is death and destruction when really nothing is happening. And now when it matters most, my inner Mike Tyson almost came out again. Now when it matters most, I'm seeing Hurricane Track, Mark Sudduth. I've been seeing a lot of folks on X. That's the one thing I like about X. I'm not very routine on posting on there, but there's a lot of folks, reputable sources out there who are really posting some very good information, and there are a lot of big names. I'm talking way above a lot of the general people you see on YouTube, on other social media. We're not talking about enthusiasts. We're talking PhD, doctorate level meteorologists who have been in the game for longer than I've probably been alive, who are genuinely out here trying to tell people we really need to keep our eyes open this time. We really need to. And I was even talking earlier with a few people, even family members, like I'm low-key starting to get just a little like, what's going to happen? I'm wandering out of the scientific frame of mind. I mean, obviously, I still want to take notes, write papers, write discussions, and have discussions with you guys. But at the same time, like David internally is sitting here thinking, what's going to happen? Like, am I just falling into the sensationalism? Am I falling into the hype? Or is this going to be a big year? Because, I mean, you can't argue with the science. And I don't really think we're going to dramatically cool down the Atlantic. And I've already been kind of talking with friends and other enthusiasts myself about hurricane season aside, are we just going to continue to see, dare I say it, global warming to this extent? That SST chart, I'll pull it up for you guys, and I do apologize sincerely for deviating the chat. We'll get into the springtime pattern here in a second, but this right here, let's see, sea surface temp chart, historical, I forget what it's called, but here we go. This right here is definitely concerning for me. And I think we had mentioned this in a live stream last hurricane season, either in October or November, sometime around then, that are we just going to continue to see these incremental increases of half a degree to a full degree every year? And what's scary is it almost looks like it's happening. Because here's 2022. Let me find it real quick. Let's see if I can find it in these lines here. I know it's in here somewhere. Here's 2022. We started out pretty average, and then as we got into the hurricane season, check this out. In peak hurricane season, we were literally a full degree cooler than we were last year. And then taking a look at this, where we started the year, we're our February 20th right now, and we are already well above that mark by almost half a degree. And it's honestly really scary. Well, no, let me rephrase that. I'm sorry, guys. It's not scary. It's just, it really raises my attention now that I'm really looking at this stuff. Like, are we going to continue to see incremental increases like this? Some people blame the strong El Nino out there. Some people blame that because of the fact that we're in a strong El Nino, all the waters are starting off very hot. But at the same time, the data wouldn't suggest that. Look at how close together our lines here, our lines are here, our lines are here. They've been very steady, very incremental in their increases. But then this huge jump right here, from the ball dropping on 2023 to the ball drop in 2024. I'm wondering, is this an anomaly? Is this like a sudden, whoosh, and then we're going to level off again? Or is this going to be a new norm? Are we going to continue to see? Because that has me concerned for everything. Like, to hell with hurricane season, pardon me. And we'll get out of theory and hype land in a second. But I'm wondering, like 10 years from now, are we going to be from 21 degrees starting the year to 25 degrees starting the year? Like, how fast is this warming trend going to continue? And I'm not talking tropics. I'm saying in general, we're going to have sea life being impacted. We're going to have our coral reef systems, our ecosystems underwater being impacted by this. We're going to see huge migrations of aquatic life trying to escape the hot waters of the equatorial area where they come from. And we're going to have foreign ecosystem invasions everywhere, and that's just going to distort everything. Not even the weather. It's just going to mess up the planet. And so I'm wondering, because I remember last year, I remember reading a few different articles that mentioned near not the Panama City area. I think Panama City was one of them, but there was also a location in southwest Florida where they actually measured in the water temps, and they actually very blatantly noted that the sea life, the aquatic life, the fish, the wildlife, the actual environment was being very badly ravaged because of how hot the waters were and they wouldn't cool off. So this also has me wondering, like, are we going to start seeing, species being threatened? Are we going to start seeing extinction events because these waters are not going to cool off? I'm wondering, is this line going to maintain itself through the year and will bottom out? Or is it going to ebb and flow like all these years? You see this wave pattern right in through here, guys? I wonder if this is going to go up and then back down and then up, because that's going to be even worse. I can't help but wonder these things. And again, this is, it's just a theory, a huge theory. But I just naturally think about these things because I'm a huge advocate for animal life and plant life. I think humans, truthfully, are coming in and just causing ruckus for everybody. I'm upset that even in my own local neighborhood, there's tons of construction going on. It makes me sad because I love waking up, going to the gym, stepping out, and seeing the wildlife, the cattle, the sheep, the goats, the rabbits, even the stray cats and whatnot that I can't grab and bring home. I love seeing that, but now it's new homes here, new homes here, new homes here, new homes here, shopping distance. I'm not even kidding. Like on every corner, Park Square homes, tenant home development, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, dang. So now we're going to lose this area. Everything's just being built up, and it's going to have a trickle effect. It's going to have a trickle effect. And, it's crazy. me mentioning this, but looking at all this historical data, seeing all these people coming to light with these SST anomalies, with the different patterns and the different signals, it really has me second guessing, is global warming really a thing? Is climate change really a thing? It's worth talking about. Glad to be back on the stream, man. I lost my grandfather about 2 months ago and just been off the grid dealing with that loss. Got rid of social media and all the noise, doing a lot better now. Wow, shoot. Jacob, I'm sorry to hear that. It is definitely great to have you back, a longtime follower. Very refreshing to see your username pop up. And I hope you're doing well with all that going on in the background. I hope you guys are making a speedy recovery, and my deepest condolences for sure. These SSTs are observed. Judy Tokos, welcome in. It's concerning. The signals are there. It's a fact. You put the politics aside and look at the data. It is extremely concerning. Exactly. I agree about the animal life, Zenful. I definitely agree with you. It's going to fall off, especially since this is a transition year. Hopefully it does. But I don't know if we're going to see it just do this. If it does do that, then this could be the biggest upset, the biggest phantom in our data in our lifetimes. Let's put it that way. Because you can't, look at this, goes all the way back 50 years. So if we start the year and then suddenly just go way back down into the norm, then that's a huge, like they say, ghost in the machines. We'll say a ghost in the ocean waters. If this suddenly trends way back down to the norm, then, wow, that was a huge, the earth must have just been ticked off at us. But even if it trends back down to here and we end up mimicking 2023 regardless, we can't ignore that. From 2022 to 2023, we saw a very, very dramatic increase. And the question still stands, where are we going to be 10 years from now, 20 years from now, 30 years from now? Even when we're all viejitos and viejitas and we're old and dying, what is our Earth going to look like? Really gets me wondering. And like I said, it could be my imagination, could be my inner writer going off the chain here. Forgive me, I have a very active imagination. I was a story writer for many years of my life, but you gotta wonder. You gotta wonder, especially when you look at these data or this kind of data. So we'll see. I don't foresee it dropping down, but we'll see. How much it's going to fall off is the question, though. Yeah, I mean, I could see it bottoming out for the time being until we really get into spring, and then it's really going to be what the heck's going to happen out there. Is it going to increase as we get back into summertime, or, dare I say it, are we going to have extremely strong storms wipe that sea surface temp out? Because, I'm willing to bet, truthfully, that's probably another reason why we saw such a huge change in our temperatures. And I know this is going to sound very morbid, but we didn't have any bad storms. We didn't have any bad storms clear all that water out, and that's what hurricanes are there for. The hurricanes are there to cycle all that stuff out and put it where it belongs and just keep that continuous cycling of thermogenic energy or thermo energy just rotating, and we didn't have that. Last year, we did not have that, and even the few storms that went through, like Idalia, for example, down in the Caribbean, the Gulf of Mexico, really didn't do much to take away some of that actual OHC and SST content. Yeah, let's go ahead and go on over there real quick. I'll show you. And you can take a look at the North Atlantic here. And the North Atlantic is just off the chain. The North Atlantic is almost smothered in red. We've almost lost all of our blue in this area. And this is insanity off the MDR. That's what everyone's worried about. I'll tell you the truth. A lot of people are not really focusing on much else. They're just looking right here. Right there is where a lot of our bigwigs are talking, because if we get those waves coming off of Africa and they do try to take a bit more of a 10-degree latitude line track as opposed to last year that came up and went up like this and dipped on us, that's where everyone is very concerned, because then the dusty air up here is not really going to have an influence on it if they try to duck south and move west, and they're just going to plow right through the Caribbean islands and nothing's going to stop them. I know that sounds Hollywood-esque, but it's true. We have the long track storms. I think this year, if we're under a cool neutral or even a weak La Nina, we're going to see a lot of development right in through here. I stand firm on that. We might not have to worry immediately, or maybe we will. If these waters stay as hot as they are and they come off the coast, they could blow up right to the south of the Cabos and then just continue to self-sustain as they move through. We could actually see some genuine long track systems that just cycle through eye wall replacement cycles, kind of go through their own lifespan all the way through the Atlantic. And the trends really have me concerned for the state of Florida and the Gulf Coast. Definitely west coast of Florida, and if you live from Texas all the way through to the Panhandle, you need to keep your eyes open for sure. You need to keep your eyes open, because even the Euro, guys, for Jacob, who's just joining us, I was looking at this as well. Weathermodels.com, shout out to them. I'm not sponsored by them in any way, shape, or form, although I'd love to be. Wonderful website. They're really stepping up their game over the last couple months. They're adding so many new pieces of data, new AOIs, new charts. And I know everybody out there loves to swear by the Euro. Everyone's like, all right, I can ships, the CFS, trash. It's like, okay, well, let's take a look at the Euro. And if you come out to the Atlantic and you switch over to our precip anomaly here, you can see that the European model is definitely on board with El Nino sticking around until about April, and then May, it's gone. But notice the tropics. Look at the MDR already moving up. That 8 to 10 degree latitude line, we're already expecting a ton of moisture out there, as well as in the Caribbean. And then June, open season. Euro itself is thinking we could have early development in the Caribbean. Look at these anomalies here, pushing over 3 inches of above the norm. Because remember, with these anomaly charts here, they're looking at what's normal for that time of year, and they're thinking above 3 inches underneath or just south of our Cayman Islands, south of Jamaica, off the coast of Honduras, Nicaragua, Costa Rica, coming off of Colombia, Venezuela. And notice how those anomalies bleed into the Gulf, over the Bahamas, over the state of Florida, and then headed up further north. We got some very, very hot loop currents going on out there. And then the MDR is already ablaze. That's why even in my TikTok update today, I said I would not be surprised if we saw something in May. Would not be surprised. It would not blow my mind at all. We've been on a roll. We had one last year during an El Nino that died because of El Nino. We've had some in the previous years. You know, it's... And then this is where it gets even better. This is July. July, we have active anomalies. You can see projecting a possibly strong Bermuda Azores high. Systems moving west. And then this is where I got really, okay. Look at August. August is showing some long trackers kind of doing something like this. So, you know, I don't know. Same thing with the SSTs. If you come over to the SSTs, the model is thinking that we're going to just stay hot. Now, remember, guys, I'd mentioned this in a previous live stream as well. We're going to see those red anomalies disappear because these are how much above or how below the average are they. So as we get into summertime, if you see anomaly charts starting to lose that red color, don't get it twisted. Don't sit there and say, oh, we're cooling off. No, what's happening is we're just simply getting closer to the norm. Now it's not as stark of a contrast. For February, we're 4 or 5 degrees Charlie above the norm, which is hot. By the time we get into the heart of hurricane season, we're only going to be about 2 degrees above the norm, which is still hot, especially when you consider the norm has been rising every single year. So, I don't know, but that's neither here nor there. Let's get out of that. Let's go ahead and talk weather now officially. So, this is our 18 Zulu GFS, and the main event that everyone is talking about is not this little whippersnapper here that's actually not going to bring any snow. I swear, if I see people talking snow at this, I'm going to rage. Not really. But this one here, between the 26th and the 29th, so you see this massive system moving across the Canadian territories, and then we get some more cyclogenesis in that system's wake, right along the leading edge of that cold push. And now, this is where it gets very interesting, because a lot of folks would think this is going to be, you know, an Arctic invasion. This is going to go way south. Look out. But this is why I do think we're already setting ourselves up for a springtime pattern. First of all, look at where our 540 line is on the leading edge of this. Way up there. And we have a 1028 high over Alberta, Saskatchewan, which tells me that is not very dense or shallow cold air. That already tells me the truth, because if we go back in time to January, if you guys remember during the first Arctic invasion, we had double this strength almost. 1040 some odd high pressures moving south out of Canada. This is half the strength of that. Half the high pressure that previous high pressure thought it was or could be, etc. So as you quickly take this through time, notice how the bulk of our snowfall stays well to the north. Still not out of the question we can get snowfall over South Dakota, parts of Nebraska, Kansas, Missouri, Iowa, etc. But I do think the majority of our snowfall is actually going to move through North Dakota, Minnesota, Wisconsin, and maybe the upper periphery of our Great Lakes, just based on the way the pattern is situated and what our ensembles are thinking. And notice our cold air really doesn't do very much. Our cold air is coming down in a very thin trough, very small trough. We still have our subtropical energy down here. We have a subtropical ridge really built in over the west coast. So this is all warmer air, mild conditions. These are all warmer, mild conditions. And as the thumbnail of the video alludes to, we're going to see that severe weather threat transition. We're not going to see it down here where we're used to seeing it, all Gulf coastline, greatest risk, level 2 risk up here in Louisiana. Nope, it's going to be further to the north. It's going to be up here. It's going to be right up along the leading edge here, and that's where most of our cape and our buoyancy is available. If I switch over to that, looking at the surface-based cape here, you go back in time a little bit. There you go. Look at that. We have surface-based cape. Let me make sure you guys can see it. We have surface-based cape. According to the GFS, and we know obviously the GFS is trash at this, so don't take this as the end-all, be-all, guys. We'll look at this closer as we get in there in time. But just as a first glance, the shear component is very good, and we have very good cape. I don't know why my marker is that big. I hate it when it does that. We have very good cape values that could support garden variety severe weather. And when I say garden variety, I mean just looking at everything. Hail, damaging convective winds, tornadic activity, all the way up to the Great Lakes. If that doesn't scream springtime in your face, then I don't know what you're thinking, because the only time we ever get severe weather up here is during severe weather season, which, as we all know, is very identical for spring. And the leading edge of our cold air mass is going to be up here, as opposed to you're used to seeing it down here. That's a very big difference, very big transition. So sorry, thirsty. Oh, Zenful, well, thank you very much. Thank you. I learned so much about weather watching you. Tropical Tidbits is pretty simple. It is. I like Tropical Tidbits, but I like diving into the more advanced stuff as well on weather models, which is why I love to go back and forth with that site as well. Kevin, welcome in. Howdy from Tallahassee. Good to see you joining us tonight. Hurricanes are like wildfires to a healthy forest. The ocean is entirely different, but these storms have a purpose, and it's to focus and distribute heat energy. The problem is the people in the way. Exactly, Jacob. You hit the nail right on the head. That is precisely what they're there to do, and El Nino kind of dorked that up for us. So we actually do need some very, very aggressive hurricanes out there to help get all that energy up and out of there. So then maybe 2025 will look a little bit more meh, which is a good thing. Not good for us who, want to cover this stuff, but you know what I mean. I'm getting ready. I'm ready for summer. Hate the cold. I'm ready for spring and summer more so we can stop talking about hype and snowfall. You guys have heard those daily gripes whenever I've, made a video. I'm done with all the snowfall here, snowfall there, look out, blah, blah, blah. Here's a look at our 12 Zulu European model and looking at the surface-based cape. It actually looks like our cape tries to show itself with that first weak clipper system. We might see a marginal risk highlighted for Missouri, Kansas, and into Illinois as early as the next couple of days. In fact, do they have anything on there yet? I have not looked at Storm Prediction Center. Oh, yeah, look at that. Day 3, they have that. And then let's see what they have for day 2. Oh, look at that. You'd think I've done this before. They already have the marginal risk out there for Kansas and Missouri and a little bit of Oklahoma. So look at that. Didn't even look at SPC, and I basically forecasted what we were going to see in their forecast. I'm just kidding. No, let me not do that. That's very obnoxious on my part, and I'm sorry. But makes sense, and this is definitely a telltale sign of us getting ready for spring. When we see that severe weather transition from out of here, an El Nino-style winter with the severe weather down here, and starting to see it more up here, or even just more elongated. Be prepared for when we start to see it more elongated up through the plains in the Midwest down through to the southern plains. Brad Randolph. Oh, yeah, Mark Sudduth is a very good source. I aspire to get to the level that his YouTube channel is at, and that's exactly what I intend to do this year by also not only reporting on all these systems, but getting in the trenches with everybody else. I actually just recently joined a Facebook group, and there were a few people asking, like, what do you know about the tropics? And it's like, well, I try to provide as many video updates and as much coverage as I can from my home office, and this year I do intend on putting myself in harm's way and intercepting these storms with actual weather equipment as well, so I can take observations inside the storm and try to help out people as I can, whoever was silly enough to stay behind despite whatever might be happening. But that's neither here nor there. That's a whole other story in itself. Here's what the Euro is thinking. Majority of our Cape is actually going to be up there in the Midwest. And yeah, truthfully, oh wow, look at that. I hadn't looked at that. That's pretty impressive as well. Look at this next round of very good Cape values into Texas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Louisiana. So this could possibly be another area to watch for air mass severe thunderstorms, because I don't think we have a synoptic scale feature moving through there. I could be wrong. Maybe we do have something at the very tail end of the run that tries to move through there. No, not at all, actually. So yeah, that's spring trying to show itself. That right there is just untapped surface-based buoyancy and Cape and moisture coming out of the south in response to our high pressure that you can't really see off the coastline. So those are definitely very big indicators of spring trying to come on in, which is exciting news. We're going to start seeing things really get crazy on a lot of our charts, which, to tell you the truth, leads me right into my next little topic of discussion that had me thinking, what the heck is that? If we come on over here to the Western Atlantic AOI, and we go back to mean sea level pressure and precip, we have not only this random thing out there in the Atlantic that tries to form up, but then watch this in the Gulf of Mexico. This little bubble of energy right there. As you go even further through the loop, whoop, get a little something out of that. Don't really think this is going to happen. I don't really think that's going to happen. We'll have to watch and wait and see, but 12Z and 18Z both have that. This looks to be more of a frontal system. Could try to maybe take on subtropical characteristics. We'll have to see. But this is definitely more of a weak frontal system supported by our subtropical jet. You can see warm and cold sectors with it. So don't get too crazy about it. There's your warm advection along the leading edge of it. Here's a tailing or a trailing end front with some very weak cold air advection wrapping around on the backside of it, trying to tap into the high pressure that's off our United States East Coast. But that's interesting. Because don't forget, if we start getting these lows forming up as far to the south as they are, that's not good, because we also have to start considering, as hot as the waters are these actually going to be able to acquire subtropical characteristics? And the waters are hot enough to do it. They really are. And another area that I also want us to keep an eye on that really has started to make me concerned about the hurricane season, completely unassociated with everything that we're talking about here, although that is a very impressive-looking cyclone that forms up, Tropical Storm Vince, I'm just kidding, is the fact that if you notice, you guys see that by the time we get into March, we're starting to see the rain amounts and the moisture content in the Caribbean starting to go up. And the reason I bring that up is because if we come back here to our CANSIPS model, for example, and we go back to the beginning of January, and we take a look at our monthly precip anomaly, this is February, and then this is March. Notice how the models are already starting to think that those dry conditions are going to start to go away, and we're going to start to see moisture really creeping in to the Caribbean by the time March and especially April roll around. So one could almost say that the models are slowly but surely starting to verify. If you come back here, you can see all this moisture is already there on the CANSIPS. Same thing with April, and then May, we start to see an uptick in the Caribbean. And then if you come over to the North American, or the multi-model ensemble by our North American model, and you look at March, you can start to see it starting to roll in as well. We start to get those precip anomalies for March and April. So the models are already slowly but surely, the Climo models anyways, are trying to verify. And by the way, I also forgot to bring this up, but we do have new North American multi-model ensemble data. I almost get tongue-tied whenever I say that. And North American model, Climo model, is thinking we could have an early start to hurricane season here. Caribbean, MDR, lighten up. June, open for business. July, definitely open for business. And in August, definitely looking very grim. And then September, October, November. Oh, it doesn't go to November, but still, you could have an early hurricane season and an extended hurricane season this year. We will have to wait and see. Nobody knows for certain. But every single model is just yelling in our face. Every single model is on board with some big stuff happening out there. And so, yeah, if we come over to our model blend, we go to the NOAA blend of models. I love leaning on this now that they've put it on to weathermodels.com to take a look at our snowfall. If you guys look at the trend here, notice a big difference here. I'm hoping you guys are noticing. Because if I come way back, for example, let's see, where can I go back in time on model data? Let's go back to the GFS. How far back will this let me go? All right, we'll go to 0Z on Wednesday, and we'll go back to the United States AOI, and we'll go to total snowfall. We're not looking at actual total snow. We're just kind of looking at old trends. So notice here, guys, if I transition through the loop very quickly, notice how our snow makes it as far south as New Mexico, Texas, Oklahoma, Panhandle, northern upper periphery of Tennessee, Virginia, West Virginia, Kentucky, and then you come over to the latest NOAA blend of models, and notice how no one is really expecting snow south of the Great Lakes and up to the north. We went from here all the way up here. So that goes to show for sure there is definitely a trend in the way our snow is starting to propagate and retreat to the north. So we're going to have to gravitate to something else, and by we, I mean all the other channels who thrived and blew up their following, talking big snow, major snow, extreme, look out. This is going to linger for sure. That's definitely going to linger because that's all mountain snow. In fact, the NOAA blend does an outstanding job of showing all the dendritic snow on the Rockies. It's so clear you can actually see the terrain highlighted through here. You can see your taller mountain peaks through here, taller on the Front Range of Colorado, the Cascade Mountains down to the Sierras. It's perfect. All higher terrain snowfall, definitely going to stick around. It's definitely not going anywhere for a while. But, I mean, you take this all the way through the run, and notice we're not really going to have any more heavy snow events. At this point now, people are just going to be hyping, inch of snow? Could we see a trace amount of snow with this storm? And I definitely guarantee that's probably what's going to happen. But we're slowly but surely coming out of winter. I do think that Phil was correct in his little analysis of not seeing his shadow. Looks like spring is going to try to roll in sooner than it is later. And if you come on over to our temperatures, that definitely shows it for sure. This is where we're starting now. And if you rapidly go through the loop, look at how hot it just starts to get across the board. Like, look at this. We got 70-degree weather going all the way up into the northern plains, the Midwest. I don't think the Midwest has seen 70-degree temps for a long time. And it gets even better than that. We have that next polar plunge, and that's why we're going to have so much severe weather up there. Look at that amazing temperature gradient right here. Fantastic temperature gradient. There's your cold advection. There's your warm advection. This whole area is going to be ripe for some kind of severe weather action. So we'll have to see. And I don't really need to look beyond that. That already confirms our suspicions that we're going to see our snowfall probably somewhere up in through here, I think. Let me go ahead and shrink that a little. I don't think we're going to see a whole... There we go. That's going to be our hot spot for snow, and I think this whole area is going to need to be designated for some sort of a thunderstorm / severe weather potential, because this is a spring setup, undoubtedly. Spring setup, undoubtedly. Florida's going to start getting hot, and if I'm not mistaken, if we come on over here to the model lab, and we take a look at our city charts, and we look at, let's see, where are we at? We'll use the Euro ensembles. And we'll come down to, hypothetically, we'll just go to Florida. We'll go and look at the Orlando area. Let's see, where are we? Look at that. Look at how warm we're going to start getting here in Florida. Winter is almost over for us, truthfully. I mean, we're going to have some decently comfortable afternoon temps. This is not hot, but it's definitely not looking very wintry for us anymore. In fact, after we come out of this weekend, it looks like we're going to very quickly warm up. And we're just going to be very, very mild for the rest of winter until we start rolling into the actual start of spring. And I don't know about you guys, but I'm very excited to rotate clocks again, get an hour back in the day, or get an hour of sunshine, I should say, back in the day. Truthfully, guys, I don't know how to calculate daylight savings versus not daylight savings. I just know we get darker earlier and then lighter. We stay lighter later during parts of the year. Because during my time in Arizona, we never observed a time change. There was never a time change. I don't know why in Arizona specifically. That's the only state we don't do it, but it's true. So I never paid any attention to it. Might want to start spinning myself up on that now. But, yeah, you can see already that we're just slowly but surely going to be creeping up. 80s back in Texas. Let's see. Let's go down to Texas, and we'll pick a random spot. We'll go to San Antonio, where I went to basic training. Let's go to San Antonio. Where are we at? San Antonio. Oh, yeah, look at that. 82 degrees on Thursday, 82 degrees on Tuesday, and then we go back to cooling off again. But that is warm, not even close to freezing overnight anymore. PXTT, welcome. Thanks for joining us. I do agree, the time change is a little ridiculous. It just adds confusion. Man, given the house insurance crisis here in Florida, we need to catch a break. We could get a storm in here. It's just gas on the bonfire. Oh, yeah, definitely. The Daytona 500 was fantastic, though. We had wonderful weather, excellent weather. I had a great time out there. I just wish that the live stream during the introduction of the race and the gentlemen start your engines was a bit better. My signal was very dorked up, very wonky. I couldn't hold the stream, I think, longer than like 13 minutes, and that's if the full 13 minutes even posted. We're all thinking of making it a huge family affair to go to the Coke Zero 400 in August. You know me, I'm already cracking the joke. Ooh, the Coke Zero 400 in late August. Hopefully it doesn't get canceled because we're getting hit by a hurricane. So, I mean, in my opinion, that's a win-win. Go to see a NASCAR race? Heck yeah. Getting hit by a hurricane? Heck yeah. I mean, either way, I have something to talk about. So, and that's just the dorky extreme weatherman in me coming out. Obviously, I'm not wishing death, destruction, or harm upon anybody, but, we got to, crack a joke every now and again, keep it a little lighthearted. So, yeah, definitely looking forward to that in August. That'll be a good time. It's the night race. I still remember way back when it was called the Pepsi 400. I had no idea they even renamed it until last couple of years. My wife wants to know when we'll stop going down to the 30s and low 40s at night. Kevin, where are you at? Oh, in Tallahassee. Let's see. Let's go up there. I'm pretty sure that's also going to be coming to an end very soon. Let's see. That's Alabama. Why am I on Alabama? There we go. Tallahassee. Let's see here. Tallahassee. Here we are. So, yeah, it looks like middle of next week. And, in fact, honestly, as you get into early next week, I know you had mentioned 40s, but even that is much better than where we're sitting right now. I know over the weekend, Sunday and Monday was very cold. Then middle of next week, we're going to just start climbing up and out, and it'll start warming up pretty good. The Cape for next week's storm on the Euro did not look as impressive as the GFS. Impressive enough, though, that's for certain. Right about there, you can see we're getting Cape values all the way up through the Great Lakes, through the Midwest. I mean, shoot, Michigan could see some severe thunderstorms. I did see AccuWeather's special statement. I thought it was a little intense that they said supercharged. I was thinking to myself, we're not talking about a Mustang 5.0, guys. Okay, we're talking about the hurricane season. If you want people to listen to you, don't start throwing car slang in there. That's like if I were to say 1,000 horsepower Turbski hurricane season. We're going to turbocharge and add some nitrous to Hurricane Isaac this year. Don't do that. Just let them know that, there's alarming trends, concerning trends. These trends need to be monitored. Like, please keep your eyes open. Take this serious. Stop joking around out there. Because it's true. It's very disheartening. I see so many people on the Weather Channel, on AccuWeather, on other big-name, reliable sources, all just trash-talking. You weather people have no idea what you're talking about. Someone actually told me, because I commented trying to defend AccuWeather's statement, and they said, all you weather people are just stupid. You don't know shit. And I'm like, wow, that's what meteorologists have turned into. And you know exactly why that is, and I'll say it again, and I'm going to keep saying it till the day I'm dead. Not even joking. The reason that is because you have the people who are trying to preach the realistic, the accurate, the alarming, but yet the positive bedside manner to combo the negative energy, getting smothered by all the people who want to say, look at that, 1,000 joules per kilogram. Oh, shit, that's going to happen. 3,000. And, they just want to grab people's attention for the sake of woo. And when those forecasts don't verify, the general public are starting to notice you're wrong. You don't know what you're talking about. And now, unfortunately, what's happening is anytime people see any weather post on social media, they don't care who it is. It could be Jim Cantori, it could be Reed Timmer, it could be any doctor, any 40, 50, 60 veteran in the meteorology game posting it. They're just going to ignore it. And I honestly attribute the lack of success on this channel to that. I mean, obviously, for a while there, I was very lazy and I wasn't putting out content, and that's my own doing. But at the same time, without clickbaiting and going too crazy with the titles and the thumbnails, I've noticed my videos are most definitely most definitely getting smothered by other channels because they want to put the giant arrows, this just got worse, historic, bomb, cyclone, multiple bad storms, and it's like, dang, like at the end of the day, folks, it's snow. It's snow. It's snow. But that's neither here nor there. Hurricane season, Lord willing, we can get back in business and get this channel over 10,000 subs. I'm also very feverishly trying to work on getting my TikTok above 10,000 views so then we can finally blend them together officially. I can start live streaming on there simultaneous with YouTube and just bring in a big audience. That's another reason why I took a bit of a step back from YouTube, because I was very focused on trying to build the TikTok, and we're getting closer. We're halfway to 6,000 followers on TikTok. We're about 1/3 of the way to 7,000 subscribers on here, so we're slowly trying to build that momentum. We're slowly getting there. Would I be lying if I told you I don't want more subs, I don't want more views to just help out the success of the channel so I can get full time into this and just talk to you guys day in and day out without stressing about everything else I have going on? Abso-freaking-lutely. Like, I do worry about the sub count. I do worry about the people who unsubscribe. I do worry about those things. But at the end of the day, my biggest concern is the fact that I'm trying, alongside other sources like How Close Are We just mentioned, to get the real information out there. And it's just the YouTube algorithm is not having it. The YouTube algorithm is noticing people are clicking on the not good, watch this, just got worse videos again and again and again and again. And so, we can only do so much. JJ614, congratulations on your acceptance to FSU. That's definitely exciting. That's extremely exciting, actually. Did you hear about the wind event in the Ohio Valley, New Mexico, and Texas? Oh, I did not, Florida man. Thank you for bringing that up. Tornado outbreak for Raymond, Illinois next week. I'm not going to go as far as to say tornado outbreak, but it's definitely possible you can see some tornadic activity up there, that's for sure. Because we've already seen it. We had that very small channel of pseudo-springtime conditions form up, and we had the 2 reported tornadoes up there, so it's very possible with an actual synoptic scale setup like this, we could get more than just 2 this time, but still a little early to go full-on tornado outbreak. We'll have to get much closer in time because, as we've learned in the past, these low-res models do absolutely terrible with the very finite details like moisture, instability, dew point, etc. So we're waiting and seeing, but I definitely see an argument that we would want to, like How Close Are We had mentioned, highlight that 15%. It was a really good time. It definitely was. It was chilly. We all left a little early because it was just getting cold out there. Definitely worth it. And then the big one happened just as we were all leaving. Go figure. But alrighty, folks, that's all she wrote. Tomorrow, I'm going to do my best to be back in business with getting another full update video out to you guys. I'm trying to experiment with more things with this setup as well. I got the boom arm, that's for sure. Got the lights. I'm still thinking of revamping the lights. I want to get my weather center neon thing up here as well. But I'm thinking about trying to move the camera around as well, whether it be up here, straight in front of my face, close up. I'm just kidding. I'm not going to do that. But, just trying to play around with the setup a little bit to make it even more comfortable as we get forward in time. There are a lot of Kevins. There's a lot of Kevins in here. There's 5 different Kevins, it almost seems like. But you're all welcome in. It's wonderful to have each and every one of you Kevins joining us amongst everybody else and the wonderful viewership for sure. And yeah, guys, that's all she wrote. We'll see you again tomorrow for a full-fledged Weather Center segment. And we're probably going to stay away from talking tropics for the rest of the month now. In fact, it's crazy to think that we're already at February 20th. That is insanity. Where the heck is time going? Everyone's talking smack about how hurricane season's so far away. We're almost into March, which means we only have March, April, May. We're already getting close to the 3-month mark, and that's not a long time, because I remember we were all talking about it in November and December, and everyone was once again saying, you're hyping. It's still 7 months away, and now we're down to almost 3. And it feels like we were just having those conversations. So it's creeping up. And we'll go ahead and do another update at the start of March with all our new Climo data, as we always do. We'll wait and see exactly what our ENSO index looks like as well. And then once we start getting our ENSO forecast model data and our CPC guidance, we'll talk about that. And, yeah, That's all she wrote. And I know, not even an hour. Thought this would be over an hour with all that there is to talk about. Truthfully, I wanted to as well. But I haven't had very much time to digest a lot of it. So next time I do a live stream and a full video, I'll have enough time to really soak in a lot of this weather data. Because truthfully, from most of Saturday, all of Sunday, all of yesterday, I really didn't have any time whatsoever. Nor, if I'm being honest, did I really want to immerse myself in weather. So, I wanted to take that break, enjoy the Daytona 500. It was even a little troublesome trying to make my brief 1-2 minute TikTok updates because I was so just disconnected from the weather sphere. So tomorrow, since I don't have any college assignments or anything big going on, we'll definitely be deep diving, coming at you with a video update, hopefully. And then Thursday, we'll be back at the helm full force, talking everything that we have going on. And I know I really need to go live for severe weather coverage. There's a lot of channels who are doing that as well, and they're blowing up. And it's unfortunate because since I'm not full-time, whenever the severe weather is happening, I'm either working, I'm doing college work, or I'm doing something, and I just can't. Some channels are out there doing like 4 to 6 hour live streams, and it's like, shoot, I cannot do that. There is no way I can physically or even fiscally afford that right now. So, we're doing what we can. I'm doing my best. I really am. Sometimes it may not seem like it, but I truthfully am working hard over here, and that's why every now and again I do need these breaks, because it's a tragic reality that as much as I really, really love weather, it does stress me out. And then getting into the statistics and the details around, how posts do, how videos do, the metrics, it's just like, it wears you out on top of everything else that's going on in your brain and where you're getting pulled around from. Like, it is mentally exhausting to deal with patients at Advent Health, work on college simultaneously while also trying to take notes and talk weather and whatnot. So, it happens. Every now and again, I'll have to pump the brakes and step back, even if it does sacrifice me views and all that good jazz. I'd rather be here running at full capacity, excited to talk to you guys versus burnt out, tired, and just not over it, I'd rather it never get to that point. Ryan Hall, y'all, has given some tips on using Radar Omega. I'm thinking about stepping away from Radar Omega and going back to Gibson Ridge. We'll see. I'll have to see what the subscription costs for Gibson Ridge, because Gibson Ridge is a phenomenal weather radar site, and I'm very familiar with that with all the experience I got during my time in Air Force weather. This weekend also, by the way, now that I have you guys, sorry, I'm going to end the stream here in a second. This weekend, while I have you guys, no content, unfortunately. Saturday and Sunday is my first reserve activation weekend, or drill weekend as we call it. So Saturday and Sunday, I'm going to be at the NRC, the Navy Reserve Center, doing my thing, getting my uniforms, getting my pictures, getting my onboarding documents all done, hopefully getting my ID card and getting started. And hopefully I can actually talk to somebody about taking some specialty weather courses as well. So we'll see. Maybe that'll be an extra piece of content we can produce later this year or something like that, even during the hurricane season. Go out to Biloxi, Mississippi for a specialty weather course, because I'm definitely very interested on going temporary duty, TDY as we call it, to just get even more education in the weather sphere. So we'll see. The updates following on that as well, but this weekend, probably no content unless we do like a brief live stream on Saturday or Sunday, because most of my day from 6:30 to 5 o'clock in the afternoon is going to be sucked into doing Navy business. Ryan Hall, y'all, and Andy Hill have done a 12-hour live. Yeah, see, that's because I think they're full-time. They are big-time, full-time on here, and they're invested. I mean, I know Ryan Hall has almost 2 million subscribers. When you're 2 mil deep, you can do 12-hour live streams because you're probably getting donations up the yin-yang, and you're probably getting revenue up the yin-yang. One video is probably easily earning him over $1,000, $2,000. Easily, for sure. Because, shoot, I would love to do that someday. And not for the money, but for the fact of just, with it, with as many times as you all can testify with me that we've verified forecasts and we've been right on the money with a lot of these things unfolding, it just would mean the world to me to get even more people in the same loop as you guys and get our community growing so we can just continue to spread the good stuff, spread the good energy, spread the casual live streams for everybody where we can all have a conversation and just have fun. While also getting the word out on certain situations that really need to be taken into consideration. One Nation Weather says he uses a light motion ion and captures a photo of the continental U.S. to make his thumbnails. Since you were asking about yeah, my thumbnails are garbage. I wish I could take like a thumbnail class because I feel like my thumbnails are trash, to tell you the truth. Maybe go live with a radar loop with warnings and I can do everything in the chat. That would be pretty sick too. Honestly, Florida Man or PM isn't with us tonight, but I would love to start taking advantage of the moderators, like actually having folks hosting live streams while I'm either out in the field or, like you had mentioned, doing radar loops and other live data on top of discussion. I'm very open to it, just like I'm still open to collabs. So, but we'll see. Anyways, guys, we're going to go ahead and kill the stream. Just wanted to update you on the rhythm of events for the rest of, or the schedule of events for the rest of the week, and we'll talk to you very soon. Thank you very much for being such a wonderful audience this evening. Once again, I hope you had a wonderful week and a good President's Day if you had the day off, and if not, I still hope you had a wonderful day regardless. Please drop me a comment in the comments section below or hit me up on my Instagram, my X, or my TikTok if you have any questions, comments, or concerns. Always happy to get back to you. And we will definitely see you again very soon. We'll do a live stream on Thursday. We'll probably do a hard segment tomorrow. I'm going to make sure I put the time into it for sure. I don't think I have anything happening in the morning. I wanted to do a video today, but this morning got out of hand for sure. I had too much going on. I think tomorrow morning is all good, but we shall see. We shall see. I'll keep you guys posted. But, thank you for watching. You guys are spectacular for all you do, and you've been very special to me since day one, and I do appreciate all your continued support. We got a big year ahead of us. Big year ahead of us. So if it seems boring, if it seems quiet, if it seems like nothing's going on out there, we're just biding our time. We are biding our time. We got a lot to cover this year. And in fact, I should probably be more religious about taking breaks now because if all the things that are popping off, all the warning signs for severe season, hurricane season, etc. Oh, no. No way. Mick and Marley. Wow. When did this happen? When did this happen? That genuinely just struck an emotional note for me. I'm glad I didn't end the stream just yet. That's very sad to hear. Very, very, very sorry for your loss. That's horrible news. What a shame. It's not going to hit the same. Even though Marley was never physically in the chat, she was always an entity to us. So, wow. All right. That's a bummer. Really is. Florida Man, yeah, I'm definitely going to take you up on that. I need some kind of like a tutorial on thumbnails because I personally think mine are disgusting and terrible. Well, obviously, guys, Mick sans Marley with the broken heart, that means that Marley is no longer with us, which is a huge, that's very sad. My sincerest condolences to you, for sure. 150%. Don't like ever hearing that. Anytime I hear animal deaths, or even see roadkill for that matter, it always hits me on an emotional note. I don't have words. You guys know I talk a lot, but I don't have words. Very somber note. Yes, you're very welcome. We will keep you in our thoughts and our prayers. That is 100% certain. I got to stop saying that. Like I said, I have no words. We will definitely keep you in our thoughts, and we will be praying for you from the Weather Center. All of us will. That's what this community is all about. Yes, we are, definitely. I expect everybody in this community, everybody in this chat, to show your support. And in fact, please, before we end the stream, everybody, if you could voluntarily send some positive energy their way. Because losing animals, I take that very serious. You know, some people Pets are pets. They're like a lower tier in the household, but pets are family. They're an extended family member. They're a sibling to your children. They're a brother. They're a child to you. So, but, yeah, that's inspires me to work that much harder. It really does. Because you just never know when. You never know when. So, Mick, Sans Marley, we are sending our biggest, sincerest condolences for sure. And if you ever need anything, please be sure to reach out on my social media. I know that we've connected on there for certain. And we will definitely keep in touch, and we will do our best to keep these live streams and all the videos as lighthearted and positive as possible. And on that note, guys, we're going to go ahead and end the stream. This is Weather Center Nazario, signing out.